just got complicated. New alliances, unexpected twists and turns, and I'm now starting to question everybody's motive. This section of The Great Hunt covers so much ground, and I'm here for it. Okay, so I feel like I have to explain myself because I technically kept reading The Great Hunt and I realized that I never introed the vlog. So this is me introing the vlog. I was like, I don't think I even said that I was going to be here. I just kept reading and recording and reading and reacting. And then, yeah. So here we are. So welcome. If you're new here, my name is Alexis Rihanna, and I am reading the Wheel of Time series for the very first time. I fell in love with the show. Amazon canceled it. I already planned on reading the series, but it just sped things up. I am officially on book 2, and this vlog is going to start at chapter 13. I don't know how far I am going to get into this vlog. We're going to go off vibes. So we're going to go off vibes and just see how it goes and where the book takes us. But so far, I am really enjoying it. Also, I probably am going to do a spoiler light version of this vlog. I do try to keep the beginning portions of the vlog spoiler free, but just the way things are going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to contain myself. I will see what I'm able to edit and keep, and maybe I'll try to do my best to edit out spoilers. I will try. If not, I will give a spoiler warning to just let you know. And if you are someone who doesn't like spoilers, or if you haven't made it to this portion of the book, then maybe just skip past my reactions. I'll be sure to put them in the chapter section so you know what sections to skip, if that makes sense. So you'll be able to just skip past those and I don't ruin the reading experience for you, because I really do think that if you are a person that doesn't like spoilers, I don't want to ruin the reading experience for you. So I'll be sure to put those chapters down below so you are not caught unawares. I think that is it. So grab something to drink, grab something to eat, and let's continue reading The Great Hunt. So much is happening. My mind is swirling. The pacing of this book is so different from the first one. The first one, by this time in the plot, we were still there were some ramp up moments, but we were pretty much steady. It was very, it had tension, underlying tension. And again, there were moments of action, but this one, it's boom, 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 boom. It's it really is leaving me wanting to read more and more and more. And I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. I gotta go to sleep. It's late. Where do I even start? Okay, so what I will say about characters, I am really enjoying how certain characters are stepping up to the plate, becoming leaders, just because circumstances are forcing them into a corner where it's like, I got to do it. Otherwise, who's going to do it? Really loving that. Certain characters are accepting things that can't be changed. It's inevitable. Like, so like at this point, I got to accept it, while others are still in denial, battling it internally, still attempting to deny, and essentially having an existential crisis, you know? And just really seeing, yeah, how people are processing while a lot is happening, a lot is changing. I mean, even from chapter 1 of this book, heck, even like 4 chapters ago, like so much has happened that has been packed in these 3 chapters. I'm like, how has it only been 3 chapters and so much has happened? I mean, of course, we're getting more world building, more lore, more history, while also at the same time, okay, not gonna say that. I'm gonna save that for later. What I find interesting is how different, even just still, this portion of the book is different from the show. I thought by this time, okay, we're probably gonna get back to where the show was. Maybe, you know, the show kept things pretty consistent. No. It feels like a completely different story, honestly, at this point. And I know it's different because like this is the original source, and the show, you know, is an adaptation or a reimagination. In my opinion, at this point, it's a reimagination. Just because so much is different. I mean, so much is different, and I still appreciate the show for what the show was. But man, just the attention to detail, the atmosphere, like the vibe is so different, even from like this portion, from like where we were earlier in the book. I just have a lot to process. And I need to go to sleep. So I will see you on the next reading session.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to talk about these last couple of chapters. So much has happened in such a short amount of time. I think it's only been like 5 chapters. Oh my gosh, 5 chapters since we last talked, and I have not wanted to stop listening, put the book down. Like, I've just, every second that I've had, I've wanted to read the book. I just haven't had the time to do it. Where do I even begin? Okay, so the mirror world, third dimension, other dimension, I can't remember. It's just like a time or a world that mirrors the current world that I live in. I don't know. I may be getting that wrong. But anyways, that whole sequence and arc, I'm like, ma'am, you just popped out of nowhere. You're in this other dimension. There are no other humans that they can see in this world, but you don't know how you got here, but you also know all of this information. Okay. But you know what I gotta say? It's very interesting. Like, maybe my perspective of Celine is a little colored because of the show, but I'm just like, y'all don't see that she's suspect. And maybe it's because they're so enamored by her essence and her looks, her beauty, her wealth of knowledge. I'm like, no red flags? Like, y'all not getting no red flags. None whatsoever. Okay, all right. I'm just like, I don't know. That whole, like, them not seeing the red flags is kind of like, to me, but okay, I'll ride with it. But it's just very interesting how she's written in the book versus like how she's portrayed in the show. I feel like in the beginning of the show, like I don't know. She seems more suspect sooner in the book than she did in the show. Anyways, that whole story arc was very interesting. The lore, just the world building around that. Rand is definitely, I feel like, on the brink of break. Like, he is about to have a breakdown at this point. He's purely going off of instinct. He's still fighting, his ability to wield the one power. He is so adamant about not wanting to play the Aes Sedai game and play into their hands and all of that. But also, he just keeps finding himself in situations where, sir, you're going to have to use your power. I mean, it's just... Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck. So just seeing how he is still in denial, still processing, but also at the same time, Celine is kind of sort of easing him into acceptance, but also trying to guide him in the way that she wants him to go. It's very interesting. Just the pull and tug of it all, or push and pull of it all between them is very interesting. What else? Oh, Loyal. Loyal is just such a lovable character. He adds in just the steadying of it all. Like, he's just so like this, even in the tense moments, and he provides the humor and the levity and really intense scenes within like the scenes and things that are happening within that section. And then I really like the contrast between what's happening with them and then with what is also happening with Nynaeve and Egwene, and just seeing how they're also having their struggles, but in a very different way. Like, I feel like we're getting more suspense and darkness and just in your face terror with what's happening with Rand and Loyal and Celine. We're getting that, right? That direct, like, that anxiety, that tense just feeling from them with that. But on the other side with Egwene and Nynaeve, like, we're getting the politics, we're getting the maneuvering, we're also learning more about the Aes Sedai, we're also learning more about the One Power and how they wield it, and also just seeing these psychological games that they are playing with Nynaeve, because she is just so resistant to her powers. And like, again, I think similar to Rand, she is trying not to fall into their plans. Like, she doesn't want to go the path that they have laid out for her. She's very like, nope, I'm not doing that. I want to do it my way. But at the same time, there's so much that she doesn't know, and I think she quickly has found that out in a particular scene, and just seeing really how she's so guided by her emotions. As logical as she wants to be, as much of a front as she wants to put on that she is just this stoic person, she's super logical, she is really driven by her emotions. And it's just very interesting that her ability to wield the one power is also driven by those emotions, you know? Yeah, I have been enjoying it. It's very fast paced, loving the pace, loving just the contrast of the different scenes and us hopping between what's happening with each of the groups. And yeah, it's been a really enjoyable listen and an enjoyable read. And yeah, so I think that I am going to be able to listen to probably 2 chapters while I color. Yeah, I think I'll be able to listen to 2 chapters. I may even be able to get in a little bit of a third, just looking ahead. Yeah, I think I may like slide into listening to maybe like 2.5-ish chapters, and I'll probably finish the rest either tonight or tomorrow, like the rest of that chapter. Yeah, I think I'm going to read chapters 20 through 21 for sure, maybe a little bit of 22, and then either tonight or tomorrow I can listen to, and maybe even I'll have a chance to actually physically read the rest of 22 and 23. I don't know. We'll see, but let's get to coloring and just see where this book is about to take us next. Okay, so we have to talk about the last couple of chapters. So many things have happened, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So much is packed into this book, and I have just really been enjoying the pace, the tone, just the dialogue, all of the different perspectives that we're getting. It's just, I think, so much different than the first book. And maybe it's because I'm bought in because of the first book. Maybe it's because I'm bought in because of the show. But I am just like, I really want to read every single chapter, like, and get through it. And just, I'm trying to like enjoy it and not speed through it. But I'm like, I got to know what's next. Like, I got to know what's happening next. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, who do we talk about first? Let's talk about Tarvalon, because that's where we just left off. So Nynaeve and Egwene, their progression and just their experiences and the contrast between the two, like when they were on the boat and now that they are getting settled at Tarvalon, and just their completely different experiences are just really intriguing, and just seeing how they even handle the one power and how they're developing different relationships, and just really seeing them coming into their own people is just really intriguing. And I've been enjoying it, especially the banter and the back and forth and the conversations, and even just how we're being introduced and a little bit of reintroduced to characters that we met in the first book, and just seeing the differences in the book and the show. And just it's interesting how the show collapsed and even just changed so much, and how the circumstances in which we're meeting certain characters and even just the maneuvering really makes an impact on the plot, the storyline, and to me, like where potentially things could go. And the last thing that I will say about this whole Tarvalon scene and what's happening with all these Aes Sedai and all the political maneuvering, and just essentially the Tarvalon being this magical boot camp / government building / boarding school, if you will. Just, I don't trust anybody there. I don't trust anybody in that white tower, and I'm looking at everybody with a side eye, especially if you're nice, because I'm like, why are you being nice? It seems like everyone is hardened, so I'm like, why are you being nice? What is your motive? What are you hiding? So yeah, I will leave it at that. I'm trying to like share my thoughts and live reactions and give light spoilers, but like not just give the whole farm away. Like, I don't want to ruin the reading experience for anyone, but like, it's really hard, especially with this book, not to like just share my thoughts. So I really just want to talk to you about it. Like, I've been enjoying this book so much, and it's so hard to wait till the end to share my thoughts. But anyways, I'm deviating. Let's talk about Rand, Loial, Selene, and Hurin. I stand on, how are y'all not seeing that this lady is a little sketchy? Like, I can kind of see Loial because he's intrigued by knowledge. He's attracted to it. So like her wealth of knowledge and just knowing everything, and him being that steadying force, like I could kind of see, with him being sheltered and also Rand being sheltered. But I'm like, y'all not getting any type of hint that something is suspicious here? I mean, really? I'm just like, there's so many holes, but you know what? She's really good at distracting. She's really good at deviating and distracting. But the whole scene where she had to leave, the cracks were starting to show. Now, were the boys and the men in the group seeing the cracks? I don't think so. But the cracks were starting to show. But what I also will say is I think that Rand is also a little bit maybe distracted. Yeah. I think distracted is the best word for what he's kind of going through in this whole slow devolving and unraveling and spiralization. It's not a word, but spiralization is exactly what he is going through, and just him continuously being in denial, but also understanding that everyone's looking to him to lead. Everyone's looking to him to be the guide. And so it's like, I mean, he's like partially accepting, but also in denial, and then partially accepting, but then in denial. And it's, just seeing his character tussle internally and externally with his destiny and all of the pressures that come with that have been interesting in comparison to the show, because I feel like the show collapsed a lot of things. So I'm trying to remember if there was this much back and forth. I don't know. I can't remember if there was this much back and forth in terms of what he was going through internally, but yeah, I think it's interesting and sometimes frustrating to see. But again, it's very human, like being in denial and going through those things, still loving Loyal and his steadyingness and just the levity that he brings, and just his quiet strength. I'm absolutely loving it. And I'm also wondering, like, what's happening with the other group? We haven't heard from them in a while. Like, what is going on? Are the stakes building for them? Are they still looking for the boys? Like, what is going on? What's happening? So I'm wondering if the next couple of chapters we're going to get a peek inside, like how close they are to, the boys. Are they going in the same direction? I think that the stakes are building so much for each of the different groups in very different ways and what they're going through. And I'll be interested to see if where the climax is going, if it's similar or different to the show. Like, did the show take from book 3 and collapse in book 2 because there is so much missing from book 2 in season 2? I'm really wondering, like, the contrasting differences. And yeah, again, I am really enjoying this book and excited to just really see where this journey is going to take us. So I will see you on the next reading session. to go, but I wanted to stop and just share my reaction, thoughts, all of the things on the last couple of chapters. I am so happy that one of our friends, who it was very questionable around the circumstances if they were coming back. I thought that they would come back just based on the show, but I wasn't 100% sure, again, if the show stuck true to what was happening in the book. So it was just a pleasure to see him. And he's just one of those characters that, he knows more than he's letting on. And it's very interesting to see what he's willing to share and when he's willing to share it. And they also added in a character linked to this character that I was like, who is that? Like, I don't remember them. And it feels like that person is going to play a bigger part into the plot. Yes, I will just leave it at that. I'm like trying to balance between talking about things specifically and then not giving too much away. Like, I don't know. Finally, we have the other portion of the group that we haven't heard from in a while, and we haven't really necessarily directly heard from them yet. They finally have arrived on the scene, and just a bit too late. There's a portion that we got to at the end, and I was like, not again. Like, not again. But it is nice that we hopefully now will have some updates on the group that we haven't really had any updates from coming up soon. I can't remember, like, I've just been so deep into this story and reading, I can't remember what I've shared, what I haven't shared. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just glad that a portion of the group has been reunited, so that was really fun to see. I am so, like, I love and also am sick of Celine. Like, I know this isn't the end of her by far, not the end of her, but it's just, I don't know, like the rose-colored glasses and just how she always just pops up at just the right moment, and how the push and pull of how she's able to bring certain sides out of Rand that other characters are not, and really just, I would say, accelerate a lot of his development in a lot of ways, and also forcing him to face some things that he probably doesn't want to have to face, or ask himself questions that he probably really doesn't want to answer the question to. So really enjoying that. What I was not expecting, and again, I don't think that to this extent it was a part of this show, but this whole Game of Thrones and the game that's being played is very fascinating and interesting to see. And I think it's drumming up a different side of political drama and intrigue and the danger. And I think it's like, where is this going to go? Yeah, that's the feeling that I'm getting. Anyways, enough talking. I have to go. I do think I want to end it here. I feel like this is a good ending spot. I've just been reading. And I'm like, I think that this is a good spot to end the vlog. So I will be back, process a bit of my thoughts. I'm still trying to figure out, like, if I can even do a show versus book comparison, because it's so different. It's so different. I don't know. We'll see. I will see you when I get back. Okay, I'm back home, and before I wrap up this vlog, so many things, so many thoughts, but I do want to go over like a quick book versus show comparison. I wrote down a couple of notes of what I can remember from this show, just in comparing it to this portion of the book. And I feel like I have gone through a little bit of spoilers and a little bit of plot throughout this vlog. I don't know. It's been a blur. I have just been really enjoying it. So I don't know what I have said. We're going to find out during the editing, and I'll just figure out if I'll give some spoiler warnings. Like, I don't know. We're going to see how this all shakes out. But this section for sure is going to have spoilers. So if you have not made it to this part of the book, or if you're not a big spoiler person, then I would go ahead and hit pause or skip to the end until you make it to this section of the book, just so major plot points and just major, I don't know, like, things that are happening are not spoiled for you, because I do not want you coming in the comments section saying that I didn't give you a spoiler warning. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to click off. While you do that, I have to say, this is not a spoiler, I cannot believe how much is different from the show and the book. I feel like I have said this before, but when I started this section of the book, I just knew, okay, it's probably going to pick up where, the show started. It's probably going to start meshing together. No. This section of the book especially showed me how much of a deviation, truncating, removing, editing, just vastly how different the show, especially in season 2, is different from this book. So that was just something that I was not expecting, but I have really been enjoying just experiencing the story for the first time. But anyways, I feel like that's enough time for those who may not like spoilers to hop on off. So I do want to get into my first point, and that is the portal world. So in the book, Rand, Loyal, and Huron accidentally hop or are transported, if you will, via a portal stone into this other creepy, foreboding, otherworldly dimension within the portal world. And this whole story arc of just them traversing it for literal chapters, being chased, just the action that happens, the character development, just all of the interactions that happen in this portion of the book for chapters is missing from the show. So I was like not expecting it. And it's another one of those plot points where I'm like, I'm experiencing the story for the very first time. And I think in the show, I would say the scene or maybe the place that most resembles it is the Ways, because of how creepy and dark the Ways is. But I think that they're so different. Like it's a comparison, but like not really. Like they're not the same. So you kind of get the eerie feeling from both, but they're very different because I think of how the dimension that they were in, I guess, within the portal world bends time, like the past and the future, and like, is it like, I don't know. It's just very weird. It's very weird and eerie. I'm trying to think of another word for it, but that's basically what it felt like. It was very anxiety inducing. And it also introduced Celine, which is the second point that I want to mention is I believe in season 2 that she is brought in a little bit earlier. And what I will say about the show and the book is she's creepy in both. And I think that, at least to me, in both, even knowing who she is before going into the book, you can kind of see that she is manipulating him. I think it's hidden a little bit better in the show just based on how she is introduced into the plot and like really, just the type of introduction we have to her in the show versus in the book. Like in the book, she comes out of nowhere. She's in the portal world, and it just makes absolutely no sense that you ended up here. You don't know how you got here, but you also know all of this information about it and like how it works, but you can't find your own way back. The book was very much giving you want to be with them, and it's very intentional. You don't want to go back home, and just the information that you're sharing. So like you get her more mysterious, I got a side on you in the book versus the show. Like in the show later on in the season, from what I can remember, like you do see, oh yeah, she's definitely manipulating him. You can see all of that. And I'm trying to remember when her like true colors come out. I can't remember, but I think at least like her creepiness and her manipulative ways, I do think it is very closely similar in the show versus the book. I just think that in the book, you can kind of tell sooner that she is on some like very suspect things. So that is one of the, I would say, similar things between the book and the show. So the third point that I did want to point out is the game of houses and the Deus de Mar. I don't know if I just butchered how you say that, but like just the game that Rand, Loyal, and Huron find themselves in when they make it to Kyrian. And I remember in the show, like there were political games and just like things that were happening in the background, but I think it was more background. It wasn't like the main focus or plot point during that section of the show. And really just seeing how frustrated Rand gets and seeing how Huron like changes and morphs and just that whole interplay. It was a very enjoyable section of the book, but I can also partially understand why they cut it from the show, because I do think that you can move the plot forward in show form without this section by doing a couple of other things. But I do think potentially where it is going, because they're still there is a lot more plot that could happen. So I'll be interested to see like how it differs, but really just seeing all of the invitations and Huron's reactions to it. It was such a good time just seeing how visceral of reactions Kieran had to Rand just being like, I want to focus on the thing, I want to do the thing, I'm waiting on, you know, the other group to get here, and I'm not worried about that. But he's also still playing in the hands of Deus Daymar by all of his actions. It's like he did nothing in his comparison, but it's like every choice that you make is a choice. Whether it's like a non-choice for you, it is a choice in the game. So just really seeing the Deus Daymar that's happening in Kyrian or Carrion, I don't know. These names, like, I listen to them and read them, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not saying these names right. But anyways, really just that whole section was different. We did land in Kyrian. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm saying it right. But Kyrian in the show, but it wasn't really something that they highlighted or like shined a light on. So I did want to mention it because the location was the same, but what like happened in that location was very different. So the last point that I want to cover is Tom. Oh my gosh. So I really like Tom. I like his character, and I just feel like he's given more depth in the book. I mean, I know it's the book. You can do more with the book. You have more time, but I just feel like the depth of his character was more. And from what I can remember, he does not pop up in season 2. Like how he is reintroduced into the story, I don't think he comes in until season 3, if memory like serves me correctly. And it's not with Rand. And I feel like his reintroduction specifically with Rand, because of the relationship that he developed in book 1 and technically season 1. Yes, season 1 of the show with Rand and Matt. I just feel like it's more fitting that he was reintroduced in the book with, you know, Rand. Just trying to get all the names right with Rand. So that introduction made sense. And also his who was his side companion's name? I can't remember. I don't necessarily remember her in the show. Like I'm like, I feel like she was an ad. Like I feel like when he was introduced in the show, he was by himself. Like I don't remember her like coming in. So I'll be interested to see like where they take that storyline. But yeah, I think even in the show, one of the things that I think remains the same is the line or the thread between the two is Tom always knows more than he gives off. I think that he's just one of those wells of information, and he's always, well, not always, I think that sometimes he is reluctant to give that information up. But I did enjoy seeing him come on the page in book 2, because I definitely thought that we were not going to be reintroduced to him, or it wasn't going to be confirmed that he was alive later on in probably like book 3, just based on what had happened in the show, or even that, you know, he was really unalived. I didn't know like if the show had changed that, you know, plot point or his character so much so that it was different. But I was just really happy to see him back, and to see him back sooner than was in the show. So I think those are all of the points that I wanted to mention. Oh, I had one last note, and I think that the book specifically, different from this show, you do see Rand in season 2. I remember like having like a lot of tug of war. You see a lot of him and Celine, if I'm remembering correctly. But I think in the book, what's different with Rand is you see a lot more internal just pushing and pulling. You do see him like how that's coming out with his interactions with everyone else, but I do think that you see a lot more of the toiling and just the turmoil that he has internally, and how that's developing, and how he's internally just processing, you know, him being the dragon, and really just fighting against what everyone is saying, like, is the destiny for the Dragon Reborn, and all of that. You do see him just battling that. And then, oh, the last thing that I want to mention is I do think that the book, and I can't remember really, I'm trying to think of the show, but I do think specifically in this book that it really shows you the instability of the world. I'm trying to remember if that happens in season 2. I feel like in the show it does show that as well, and just being introduced to the Shanshin, you know, and that storyline. Oh, okay. Last point for real. Last point for real. I do want to talk about the Shanshin. So I feel like in season 2 of the show, they leaned heavily into that portion of the storyline. So when I was coming into book 2, I thought that that was going to be the vast majority of the book. I was like, okay, we're going to be sitting here for a while, because it felt like in the show we were sitting just in just that chaos of that world. I mean, we did have flashes to other portions of like what was happening, but it felt like we were heavily focusing on that, versus in the book, we've just now been introduced to them. I think it was like chapter 28 or 29. I may be incorrect. I feel like it was that, But anyways, either way, we're like halfway through this book and we're just now being introduced to them. And there also are some plot points that happened in season 2 that have not happened yet. So yeah, I am loving the pace. I'm loving the world building. I'm just loving how different this book feels from book 1. Like, again, I appreciate book 1 for what it was. It still is a good book, but I feel like book 2 is just so different and I am really just enjoying it. And I really hope that you enjoyed this vlog and just the conversations that we've been having in the comment section about The Great Hunt. Definitely let me know all of your thoughts and even just some book and show differences that maybe I missed or I didn't take note of. Just let me know down in the comment section. I always love when we just chat it up. And if you've made it to this point of the video, welcome to the end of the video, crew. Be sure to put a blue heart in the comment section. I always love to know who's joined me until the end of the video. And again, I just love our conversation. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a new video from me. Until the next time, happy reading. Bye, y'all.